teacher, whose name is Maitreya, stands at the head of an enlightened group known as the Masters of Wisdom, who are here to help humanity solve the problems of the world.
He's not a religious teacher, although I believe he's the one expected by all the world's major religions, but he's here first and foremost as a teacher, as a friend and a guide, and that the reason he is here is to lift our consciousness, make us aware of the significance of the time we live in. Never before in human history have we had the capacity to destroy ourselves. We have the power to do that. So we are pretty much ours, or to change direction, to move forward and create a new golden civilization. And what Maitreya is saying is that that is indeed what we will do. He can see into our hearts and sees that we will make the right choices, that most people do want harmony and do want peace. At the moment that is not the case in the world. We have a situation where there are millions of people who live in utter poverty, many millions more who are literally starving to death. And he says that the solution to this unspiritual situation is simply by sharing. And if you think of humanity as being a family, a global family, just like in a nuclear family, it makes sense to share what you have among the members of that family. And so what he is saying to us is that if we really want peace, then we need to share the resources of the world so that all have adequate food, housing, healthcare and education.
What struck me as the most important thing and the most significant is that Maitreya's message is we need to share the resources of the world. We can't have people starving in a world of plenty. And if there is a teacher of that stature, when I first heard that, I thought that would be his message. That would be what the Christ would have to say. That's what Jesus said. You have to take care of the poor. You have to take care of your brother. And so when I heard that that was his message, I knew that this is probably the right teacher.
Maitreya to me is a person that, from looking and studying a lot of the religions, is a person that all religions talk about, including our own Indians who talk about the Pale One and the return of the Pale One. And I find that fascinating, how this one person is really connected into all those religions.
Well over a decade, Maitreya himself has appeared to individuals and groups around the world. One of these appearances was actually documented by a newspaper reporter with photographs taken of Maitreya, although none of the media knew at the time that this was Maitreya. According to the report, Maitreya appeared literally out of the blue on the 11th of June, 1988, near Nairobi, Kenya, before a congregation of 6,000 people. Maitreya spoke perfectly in the language of the people, Swahili, and healed many of those before him. Maitreya stood next to the leader of the congregation, a Christian preacher and faith healer named Maitreya. Maitreya then disappeared as magically as he had come. The crowd was convinced that they had seen Christ return.
Christians believe there's only one and only Son of God, and I must admit I thought that too when I was brought up. I was brought up as a Presbyterian and, you know, sort of went along with Christ and Jesus being the only one and only Son of God, but we're all sons of God, and in all religions we're all sons of that divine spark. So it doesn't matter whether you're a Buddhist or you're Muslim or you're Jewish or whatever particular religion or non-religion, doesn't matter if you have no religion. We're all sons of God and we all have that spark of the divine within us. And Maitreya is actually here to stimulate that spark of the divine within us. So irrespective of whether we are religious or non-religious, it doesn't matter. It's a great synthesis that's going on.
I think for everyone who sees Maitreya and has some question about who he is, maybe is not familiar with the complicated process of his emergence, is just to listen to what he says. He speaks to the inner part of each one. And when he speaks of sharing and love, he is speaking to each of us individually and asking us to take care of each other, just as we would hope other people would take care of us.